Clytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure body in the SK system. The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth.
How peaceful it looks. It must be annihilated. Send Rik and Danny on War Rocket Ajax. In 2013, Ming the Merciless, ruler of the known universe, declares the Earth to immediate termination. To accomplish this awesome decree, Rik and Danny are dispatched to the planet on War Rocket Ajax. The two encountered something they never thought they'd find, though. Movies. Stalled in their given task, Rik and Danny comb the movies of the Earth, sending reports of their greatness back to Mungo in what is now called the Hail Ming Power Hour.
Well, welcome back, Hail Ming listeners. We have a great show for you today because we're going to be talking about, the master of Italian horror and psychotropic drugs, apparently, and also our friend from across the pond, our comrade, our brother in arms, Duncan McLeish is here. I'm super excited about that. We all should be super excited. I mean, excitement abound. And we're going to be talking about, of course, Dario Argento and one of his better known, one of his Giallo films that so best defines his career. All that.
It's his best Christmas movie.
It is his best Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know that that's true. Does he have another Christmas movie?
This is the Christmas movie, right?
Opera?
I mean, yeah. Sure. Hey, you introduced Duncan, but
I was about to say, and I would be remiss if I wasn't going to say my co-host, the person with the record button right now, who can probably edit all of this out. That's right, Mr. Rick Morgan.
How's it going, folks?
You can count on my stool.
Oh,
That's
man.
Right. The ultimate Christmas movie with the one and only Duncan McLeish. What's up, man?
I'm very excited. If ever there was a time to come back on the spaceship, it would be right now. I think Danny mentioned it perfectly. Maybe, if you ask me my favorite Argento movie, I'm going Tenebrae. Is it his best? Yeah. Maybe not, but my favorite, Tenebrae, hands down, every single day, twice on Sunday. So yeah, very excited to be here.
That's exactly why we brought you on, because I knew for a fact this was your favorite one. And like I said, it's his best Christmas movie. Hey, if Spies Like Us can be a Christmas movie, so can Tenebrae.
I was going to say, does
Hail Ming.
does Deep Red at the beginning, that is Christmas, is it not?
It does have a Christmas scene.
It's right at the very beginning. It is Christmas. I don't know if that technically allows you to class it as a Christmas movie, but there's a tree. So,
hey, they've been doing it with what's the
Die Hard?
Well,
it's
Die
like
Hard.
an office party, and I'm like, well, yeah,
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. Yeah, they run through a field of trees. I don't know what I'm saying.
We don't either, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue it with anybody, but I will say, for me, just because a movie takes place on Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie, and you can have your own opinion, and you can keep it.
Oh, so we're here to talk about 1982's Tenebrae.
That's right.
Also known as Unsane, which I can't decide if I like that name or not.
mean, it's if it's good enough for Tenebrae, it's good enough for Soderbergh, because Soderbergh had a horror movie out 2 years ago called Unsane. And I was like, that's just going to get confusing. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Americans call it Tenebrae now. I'm guessing it just sells better with that sort of title. Maybe Tenebrae a bit unpalatable for the American audiences back in the day. So that's a guess.
I think you're exactly right, because when we get to our synopsis, our guest speaker does struggle with the name of the show. So, yeah, it is an issue.
Well, and I think the Unsane version of the movie was an edit as well. Like 10 minutes were edited out, and apparently it didn't make a whole lot of sense. So maybe Unsane was more of a characterization of the edited version.
They're pretty good at that with Argento movies. We'll chop it up and it'll be fine. People are just there for the blood anyway, so it's fine.
I think that's what they chopped out, though.
Oh, all right. Maybe because Deep Red's. What did they call? Is it the Hatchet Murders? Deep Red, and I think that's what they called it in America.
Right.
And that just confused me. I was like, that just call it Deep Red. I mean, I was like, well, he kills him with a hatchet. No, he doesn't. There's no hatchet in that movie.
I just did a doctor movie where I had to explain why there is a Zombie 4 movie, but there's not really a Zombie 2 movie. So,
no one watches direct sequels, Ricky. No one watches. No. It's now cool just to go straight to 3. So.
Man, it's awesome to have you back on. It's been a long time, man. I'm glad you're back.
How long is it? I was trying to work this out today, and I'm getting older, which means the memory's starting to not be as sharp as it was before. I can't remember what the last episode I was on, but I think it was maybe in the 50s, but that was before you guys took your break.
I think it was episode 50 where we did the live show where we saw Ozzy bite the head off of Geezer Butler.
I'm getting Nam-like flashbacks at the moment, so it's all coming back to me in waves. It's great to be back. Like I say, I don't get, the weird thing is, in the interim, I don't get much opportunity to do much in the way of any guesting anymore. The offers have dried up, and I think it's because people just assume that I'm too busy to chat to anyone now, and I'm not. I still have plenty of time. I don't sleep, so. Well,
when you crank out 3 shows a day, it's kind of hard to shoehorn you in there.
I resemble that comment.
You sure do, man.
I think everybody thinks Bo has dibs too. I mean,
yeah,
you guys have a special relationship.
He's cornered me on that. I think he actually secretly goes round behind my back, strong arm another podcast not to invite me. I've seen the way you've been looking at my Duncan, and I don't like it.
You don't get McLeish. Yeah,
so,
makes sense.
It's in the deal.
Yeah. But any opportunity to take pot shots and Bo on another show, though, which makes me happy. Bo's real silly, and he's dumb, and he's got a big nose.
But he makes a good Santa Claus.
He makes a great Santa Claus. I saw him dressed as Santa Claus, and for a second, one of those double takes, and I was like, "Is that actually Santa Claus?"
Yeah, perfect.
And also, his beautiful girlfriend was with him, and Bo is punching above his weight.
Yeah,
quite a bit. So, and I can't wait to tell him, because it's the first time I've seen a picture of his girlfriend, and I might have to sit down and have a word with her and just say, "Are you okay?"
Run.
What's he told you he does for a living? Because is it a Wall Street banker? Because he's not. He's just to make sure. So but excellent to be here. Argento, if I had a Mount Rushmore, I think Argento would be in my Mount Rushmore of horror directors for sure. And even though, his career tapered off, guys. I don't know if you know this. He's not done much in the last 20 years worth singing about. like I still count his run from 1970 to maybe even up to 91. I would include up to 91 as maybe one of the most consistently awesome runs in horror ever. Yeah. So 20 years of great movies, 30 years of bad movies. You can weigh it out. I mean, not everyone has 20 years of great movies.
It's true.
But if you look through pretty much any director's career, though, even Ridley Scott's even kind of coming back a little bit, but you kind of hit those heydays and you've got this incredible run, and then you kind of start, Your
voice gets, I think that my way of always looking at it is I think directors, the ones that are successful have a voice that resonates with an audience at that time. And unless that voice changes over time, what happens is it becomes less important to the audience, because the demographic that directors are looking for are that kind of teenage market to your 40s. That's kind of where the big bucks are spent in movies. If your audience grows up with you, then as diminishing returns each time. And Argento, weirdly, he's one of the few directors that never really changed. Like, he never even tried to change. It was just like, this is what I do. And he went through and after a while, no one wants to pay for those movies anymore, which is why you get some of the worst CGI in movie history all the way through the 2000s with what he puts out. So, it becomes a kind of victim of his own success to an extent. But that being said, what's awesome just now is just the sheer amount of directors that are now out in the business just crediting him wholeheartedly for the stuff they're doing. You only have to go and see a movie like *Malignant* this year by James Wan to see that Argento is all over that movie. It's tearing all over that movie. So I mean, it's kind of cool. And he's got a new movie he's working on, and I don't know if I want to go and see it. And he's starring in the new Gaspar Noé role. He's got I think he's a lead actor in that, and apparently it's a very heartfelt role he's playing as well, and it's going to make us all cry. And and he also made movies that are so bloody and so violent that it makes me immensely happy, with dogs that can leap over walls that are 20 foot high for no reason. So it's amazing. I love it. I love it.
That's the beauty of the Italian cinemas, and I say this all the time. You're gonna see something in these movies, even if you don't like the movie. You're gonna see something you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Except maybe in Spain.
They really push things, and I kind of love that. It's not like that. Like, the visuals are always incredible, and then they give you something that just defies logic. That you even get to the point where you're like, was that even written in the script, or are we just making this up as we're going along, lads? And I think it's a good chance that they're making it up as we go along. Argento. I was going to say Argento gets the. Rightly or wrongly, Argento gets a lot of flack for really taking zero interest in his actors.
That's true.
And he has no interest in their performances or whatnot. And Tenebrae, maybe out with Phenomena, is the last one where I think he manages to cast good actors in great roles, performing really, really well. And then after that, he doesn't care. He's like that. I have my camera, you have your lens, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, and never the twain shall meet.
Right. All right.
Did you say he's going to be in a Gaspar Noé film?
Yes.
Okay. Just gotta make sure I heard that right.
I think it's called if memory serves, I think it's called The Vortex. And it's the movie. A lot of people don't know this. Gaspar Noé almost died. A year ago, he disappeared off the map for about a year, and he had something wrong with his brain. He basically was in critical condition, and he said that there was a very, very good chance that he would no longer be with us. And he came out the other side and decided to, instead of making movies about like hardcore techno and drug taking, he decided to make a kind of introspective, serious movie about the frailty of life, and cast Dario Argento in it. So I'm intrigued. It's got me totally like. If anyone can do it, he can do it. So I can't wait to see what that looks like. But it's either going to be one of the best things I've ever seen or utter trash. And either way, I'll be happy. So.
And your next stop, Argento, is go make a movie with Neil Breen.
Oh man, but like he's the one of the few directors that I'm surprised, like an Amazon or a Netflix or something hasn't went to him and said,
yeah,
here's a bag of cash, go and do something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they've kind of been doing that. It's like you're missing the opportunity because we're not going to have him a whole lot longer.
Well, this is it. You know, he is a frail old man now, and I think we'll see what he is working on a new movie. We'll see what that looks like. It's not good. Anyone that goes in expecting like greatness, it's not going to be great. But like Ricky said, there will be something in it that defies logic because every single movie that man has ever made has a scene in it where you're like, did I fall asleep or something? Did I blink? How did it? Yeah, every single one of them. So yeah, it'll be
absolutely amazing. All right. So in honor of Duncan coming back, we've got our celebrity to come back. He's been gone for a while too, but we have to do our synopsis. The one and only crappy Christopher Walken.
Ow! Tenebrae, a 1982 film, mystery, thriller, a horror movie. Directed and written by Dario Argento. The movie is about this successful American writer from Rhode Island, Peter Neal, who travels from New York to Rome to promote his bestseller, Tenebrae. Oh, that's the title of the film. He is received by his agent, Bulmer, that schedules an interview in a talk show. As soon as Peter arrives, there's this murder of a shoplifter, and Detective Germani is assigned to the case. He meets Peter and tells that the killer was inspired by his novel to commit the crime, Voodoo Magic. Peter receives a letter from the murderer, and sooner 2 women are murdered. The killer writes that perverts must be eliminated, and Peter expects of the host of the show. However, when you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains might be the truth. It stars a great cast of people like Anthony Franciscus, John Saxon, and the lovely Daria Nicolad and Gilligan Jemena. Good film. Go watch it. Ow!
I mean, these pronunciations are probably about as good as mine, to be fair. So, like, he who lives in glass houses do not throw stones. So
it's almost like he was reading the children's book version of the movie. And that's when he has an interview at the TV station.
A pop-up book, obviously a pop-up book. I mean, it's not the worst synopsis I've read.
It's a little long, just a little long.
I think Nicolas Cage did the worst synopsis. He didn't even talk about the movie.
Right. All right, Danny, you know the drill. What's your number one reason to watch this masterpiece, Tenebrae?
Man, so I might go in order, but instead of going in order, I am going to give you my number one reason to watch Tenebrae. My number one reason up first, and it'll come up often, is John Saxon, man.
Of course.
John Saxon is just the gift that keeps on giving in this movie. It's like he's got the hat, he's got the girl, he's got the Stevie Love intro, he's got all the snappy lines. I mean, there's a lot to love about Tenebrae, but there's also a lot to love about John Saxon in Tenebrae.
I purposely did not put him on my list because I knew it was going to be like 5 on yours. Yeah, hey, look, it stays on.
That's not coming off my head.
I mean, we all look for when we buy a snappy hat.
Heck yeah, man.
You want to try it on? No, it's okay.
No, because we've just seen you windmill your head and it's not come off. So I'm now concerned if I try and take off your head's going to come with it.
That's right. That's right. He takes off the hat, his head just rolls off. That's the end of the movie. It's like the Green Knight. What?
They should have missed an opportunity here for him to wear a beret and call the movie Tenebrae. Just saying.
All right, somebody who's serious about this movie, Duncan, give us a reason that we should check out Tenebrae.
My number one reason for checking out Tenebrae is, and this should surprise no one, there is an incredible crane shot in this movie, which has been copied by almost every director worth their salt. And not only is it just this incredible one-shot movement crane, but it's done to the theme of the movie, perfectly timed to the theme of the movie, that the camera moves from one side and you see all the movements of the killer entering whilst you see the people in the house. It is maybe one of my favourite shots in cinema, full stop. And Argento does it out of nowhere in the movie, doesn't try and recreate it later on, doesn't revisit anything like it. And it's not even the best kill in the movie. He just puts it in for giggles.
And the fact of, I mean, she's playing the record on the record player too. So it's almost like the soundtrack is being played in the house. And then you go through this shot down to seeing the killer cutting the blinds to get in through the window. I mean, it's brilliant.
Like, I don't think people like that. 1982. Like these things are now done using CGI. Yeah. You know, you would digital photography, you would have your camera going all places that it couldn't possibly go. He did this all with a crane. And like the actual work that must have went into doing that is incredible. So yeah, it's my number one reason. If anyone ever asked me for, you know, like, why should I watch Tenebrae, there's a kill in it where the camera work is maybe the best in Italian cinema. So yeah, there you go.
Very much so. Yeah, anything, Danny? I see you over there like you want to say something.
Oh, well, you know, I was just gonna say that, you know, from a Kill Bill Volume 1, with the continuous shot that goes up in the rafters and down the hallway and on the stairs. And you know, Quentin Tarantino has said that he, you know, 100% was influenced by, you know, Dario Argento. Of course, Tarantino is unabashed about telling you that he's stolen all of his best ideas and just thrown his own stamp on them. Yeah. But, you know, to his credit, he will tell you who he stole from. I was just going to say, and I think we saw an interview with Argento where he talked about the remote control camera that he used to do that shot.
It's nuts. Yeah. And like the thing is basically like Hitchcock had already pioneered a lot of that. And then what Argento does is he takes, because that's what the Italian directors did. They took the kind of the techniques of Hitchcock and then just like flexed them out. And then it's weird. Like America sets the standard for it. Italy rips it off, essentially, improves on it. And then you get the next wave of American. You get Brian De Palma basically ripping off Argento to do the same thing. So it comes full circle right back around. Even 3 years ago, there's a movie called Assassination Nation, which everyone should check out. It's amazing. And in that, there is a full shot with a home invasion, and the camera work is Tenebrae. It's like it's the whole setup is Tenebrae, and it's still working. It's still working its way through. I think if you're a director and you see something like that, first you try and work out how it's done, and then you try and recreate it. So it's cool.
Right. Awesome. I'm going to link my first two together right here. Being that we're being all artsy fartsy here about the greatness of this film. Yeah.
Yeah. John Saxon.
I've got my number one reason is in 1982, Italy was a bra-free zone.
Apparently.
I mean, the only girl that's wearing a bra in this movie is Daria Nicolodi or whatever Christopher Walken called her a while ago. But
sure it wasn't her name though.
So I got that. Then also the other reason is Anita Pironi is hot.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Lord have mercy. That pink skirt.
There's no bars like that in Scotland. That's all I'm saying. It's too cold over here. It's too cold over here. You can't get that. Yeah. Oh my God.
She's stunning, man. And just, you know, and it doesn't help that she's playing kind of a, you know, slutty shoplifter, you know? Yeah. So there you go. There's my reasons, folks.
I mean, out of the three of us, I think Ricky came with the best one, to be honest. So, I'm speaking biased, you know, obviously, but I think Yeah, he brought boobs to the equation. I wasn't ready for that.
You know, we read Playboy for the articles, right? I mean,
always.
All right, Danny.
That's how I learned to make my patented banana loaf in Playboy.
I bet you did. Banana something.
My next reason to watch Tenebrae is murderous homeless people getting their fingers slammed in gates. Wait, what is that? Is this a real problem in Italy that like you're walking down the street and some homeless zombie just starts attacking you
all the time?
It's like because she looks at him or whatever, and he's like, and then what? Did she laugh at him or did she? Didn't even, he just starts chasing her down the street like she's straight in the middle of the zombie apocalypse.
She rings his bells twice though, man. She gets him one with the high heel shoe and once with the knee. Yeah. So yeah,
there's some high heel attackery going on.
Here's the deal, though. If I met her, I'd probably do the exact same thing. I'd be like,
well, you better hope she doesn't have a gate because that looked like it really hurt.
Yeah,
it's pretty deadly for that gate.
Mm-hmm. So you lose a finger or two.
Well, I mean, she slams it with all the fervor that she can't manage to muster when she's trying to turn the damn key.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I can't get the key to work, but when I get it open, I'm going to slam this bad boy and your knuckles are going to hurt.
Yeah. Also, like, not that I stalk or try and sneak up on any women, but I will say if you're going to do that, the best way to do it is not to telegraph it by going, yeah, I mean, that's a dead giveaway.
I'm coming to get you.
That might be, it's a dead giveaway. You might be a creep. I'm just saying. So.
All right, Duncan, what you got, man?
Second reason is I think this might be the only Giallo, and I'm fully prepared for someone to pull some very obscure animal color Giallo out of nowhere against me, but I think this might be the only Giallo that does a double fake in the way that this does, in that there are two killers in this movie, and the second killer uses the first killer's MO as a way to get away with something that he is doing. I can't think of any other Giallo that does that, and it's very much against Argento's kind of his template that he set out when he made Bird with the Crystal Plumage. It was always very much, there's a trauma in the past, that trauma will somehow be triggered when this person is an adult, and they will go on and do murders in the vein of whatever the trauma was before, which is the case in this one. But the original bout of murders that you see are not related to that, and that's why the flashbacks you get to like the younger kids and the women, when you get those, they don't trigger in until after an event triggers that later in the movie. It's maybe his smartest movie. Like overall, I think is,
I agree,
and maybe his smartest movie, and that you just don't see. And that's, I think, for a lot of people, that's a hurdle that people get over. I think at times people don't understand that there's actually two killers operating, even though it says it in the movie and it's obvious. But the second reason is that I think it's so against how Argento generally does it that I think it genuinely shocked people to see that at the end. So yeah, that's my reason. I think it's like entirely far too clever to be a Giallo slasher in 1982. So
yeah, I even say on my list that the precursor to Scream. I mean, Scream kind of takes this idea and flips it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking the same thing. That's kind of the brilliance of this movie is you haven't seen this before that I know of either in any movie. And changing it up this way like he did is the equivalent of, our hero in Psycho getting killed off first thing in the movie. So, it just really throws you for a loop because it's breaking the formula.
Yeah, in a lot of respects, what he's doing, because the movie itself is, and this might be one of your points, so I'll try not labor it too much.
Yeah.
Argento got, as a director, was constantly hit with heavy criticism about being a misogynist,
right?
Who like reveled in, you know, the murder of women on screen. For some reason, like Argento always got targeted with it, and he's not the worst offender for Italian 70s horror directors. There's like so many more, but he was the poster child because he was the most famous. And Tenebrae, in a lot of respects, is him addressing that through the Peter Neal character, but also it says a lot about Argento's humor that ultimately, at the end of the day, the character that's being maligned as the person that glorifies violence is the one that ultimately, at the end of the day, becomes a killer. So
yeah,
I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says about him. Like Argento in every movie, the black glove that you see killed someone is Argento's hand. So he's very hands-on with that. But yeah, I think
Hail Ming.
But yeah, it's like I don't know what that says about him overall, like as a director with his commentary, because he starts one way and goes the other way. But it is, I mean, it's dripping with a bit of contempt for how he was perceived as a director, but at the same time, it's so playful and so fun with it. It's hard not to love it. So
yeah, and it even plays back to even to Danny's shirt. I mean, the whole Sutter Kane idea, right? Because it's, you know, Stephen King getting involved in, you know, something that's happening because of something he created, and that's such a fascinating idea, making it so meta. Yeah, it's brilliant, man. It really is. It's a brilliant idea. Where are we at? Is that me?
It's you.
Hey, I've got, and this is kind of a change too. I mean, we're talking about the brilliance of this film, but Argento really changes his color palette in this movie too. We're going for more of the pastels. We're getting away from the shocking bright colors. It's very sleek. And even to me, just watching it, this movie seems to flow, I think, a lot better than some of the earlier stuff, even though I love Deep Red is my favorite. But this one is put together so well. And again, the color palette is something so different. It's very sleek, very 80s. I don't know, man. It's a home run. But it's just one of those things that really stood out. Yeah.
It's very bright. I mean, a lot of the action happens during the day. And even the nighttime scenes are always in well-lit, almost artificial, you know, backdrops. I mean, there's nothing spectral or you know, esoteric about it. It's very real life, and it's very, like you said, it's very well lit, and a lot of whites and not a lot of colors.
Yeah.
And it had to have been intentional.
Sure.
Again, you know, like you said. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, you get, like, when you look at, like, this is 1982. Inferno's 1980 or 81, I'm trying to remember. And Inferno's maybe the most colourful movie he made. It's even more colourful than Suspiria. I get a feeling that there's only so far you can take that. And a lot of these colours ended up being really linked to, like, kind of dream logic. Like, the reason Suspiria is lit the way it is, and the reason that Inferno is lit the way it is there is that element of, is it a dream? Is it a fairy tale? Is it a fantasy? I find that that's a smart move to strip all that out when you come to, like, the closest you get to it is the kind of flashback scenes. But, like, even as you said, all the flashback scenes are set during the day at the beach.
Yeah.
So they're all like, or at a pool, so they're all like super bright, super colourful. But that allows them, those whites, it's like something he never quite like understood in the 70s, and I don't understand it. There is an arterial spray in this movie, which I'm sure we're going to get to, which is one of the best ever. But it's a character wearing a white dress, and it's a white wall, and the red is Argento red. And it just looks so much better when you have it like that. It's so much crisper, cleaner, and grounds it. It really does ground it. Everything in this movie is crystal clear, which is the reason that even when they released it I think it was back when they did the original Blu-ray release of it, it already looked incredible. And every release they've done in a higher resolution since has been like, I mean, it's already incredible. It's like, can the whites get any whiter? So yeah, I think it's a really good point, because you jump from this one into Phenomena, which is his next movie, and it's got dream logic and all the rest. So he almost does a turn back again. He's like, well, I've done that movie. It looked that way. Right back to the stuff that I know. So.
Yeah, this is kind of a return to those first three films, right? That kind of form of just the straight Giallo type films. So yeah, I thought it was a return of that. It almost makes man, those first three movies, if they could have looked like this one, wow, but that's the times changing. He becomes this great icon and can do this stuff now, and this is what we get. So it very possibly could be his best work as a movie. So
I think it was funny, and through the conversation so far, Duncan said that his favorite is Tenebrae, and you just said that your favorite was Deep Red. My favorite's got to be Phenomena.
Yeah.
You just mentioned it like I did. There's just something about the payoff in that one is just so incredible.
It's a bonkers movie. It really is. It's absolutely nuts.
It is. And, it's just everything about the parts in that movie that are great. And the rest of them just kind of carry you to the next great part. I mean, I'm going to say that the whole movie is like riveting, but the parts that are intended to get you going, man, they take you on a ride.
Are you saying it's kind of like the words to a Bee Gees song?
It's like a song from the Bee Gees. Is there any reason for this?
Hey, matter of fact, stop your gibberish and go ahead and tell us your next reason to watch the movie.
I told you it was going to come up again, and it's coming up again. They almost run off with John Saxon's hat.
Yeah.
It's on that cart. It's wheeling away. John Saxon's like, hey, wait, my hat. That's a reason right there. I mean, what's going on in the other room is you got Crazy talking to, Peter Neal. Well, don't you think some people just need to get killed? Well, I wouldn't say that. Wouldn't you just kill him, though? Yeah, that's going on over here. But John Saxon has his own movie with the hat. That's important.
That other guy's name is John as well, John Steiner. So you can. I think that maybe some people should be killed. Don't you think so? Don't you think that some people need to be killed?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it that way. Well, you're a Catholic, right?
Yeah. Peter Neal's like, maybe this interview should be killed. That's what I was kind of thinking right now. Can we get this guy out of here?
That's really interesting. Where's John Saxon?
Oh, he's after that hat again, isn't he?
I have no sense of smell. All right, Duncan, back to you, man.
Going right to the very, very, very end of this movie, Dario Niccolodi screaming as the credits roll.
Oh my god!
Is fucking because she just left with that, and she just keeps screaming as well. She screams her lungs out. I don't want to know how many takes she had to do. Because like Argento at this point is very much a sadist towards her. He puts her through quite a lot of stuff in his movies before he turned his attention to his daughter and then did the same to her. But yeah, he's like the end of her just standing there kind of drenched and like hands on the ears, screaming her lungs out, and then credits and she's still screaming. And that's, do you imagine going to see this in the cinema? And that's what you're left with.
Yeah.
Like there was a time period where like Mario Bava, like if you watch things like Black Sunday, like in the Italian cut of Black Sunday, Bava, like at the end you've got Boris Karloff, and he's on the horse and he's riding, he's cackling all the way, and then the camera pulls back and you actually see that it's actually an animatronic thing he's on, and people are running around with trees and all the rest. This is the Italian cut, so like they're all running around, and he shows you how they create the lightning and all the rest. And the whole point of that is, regardless how scared you've been throughout this entire movie, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. And he does that right through. Even when you watch something like Bay of Blood, it ends on a kind of comical note, and that is the Bava way. The Bava way is he wants his audience to walk out, well, kind of spring in their step. It's been fun watching this movie. Argento hard no. Like he goes like the other way. Like you have been watching Suspiria. Yes, I have. You have been watching Daria Nicolodi scream her lungs out. Yes, I'm terrified. It's such a, because the terror never ends, and I think that's the beauty of the ending of the movie is like it's just passed on to someone else. Like she is maybe one of the few movies where it was something like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right at the end, where you see how broken she is on that van. Very few movies, when you think about this, very few horror movies does the quote unquote final girl actually end up broken at the end, considering they've all went through. Like Hollywood likes to try and tie it up that they're going to be fine and they're going to meet up with their friends, or someone survived that you didn't expect and they're going to have a one-liner. And real life isn't like that. And Argento doubles down on that in probably the best possible way. As once again, like if it's got one of my favorite crane shots in movie history. It's got one of my favorite endings in movie history.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, I've just got two words on the end of mine. It just says killer artwork, and I don't mean the poster. yeah. It's incredible.
I give him a left arm for that. So such a good effect.
So going back to this is something for some reason I've just kind of missed when I've watched this several times, but we all know, the story of we've got a serial killer that's killing people based off of the book Tenebrae. They're going through and they're murdering people based off of what happens in the book. But I never put it together that every person that they're going after to kill are all the same person.
Yeah.
I mean, they're brunettes that are kind of easy, slutty women. Every one of them have the exact same traits. And the only girl that is different is the one that stumbles into his house and figures out everything.
Yep.
But all the rest of them, the ones that he is targeting, are all the same. And I've never picked up on that before.
Yeah, they all look very much alike. They also, on some level, like hair color wise, resemble Daria Nicolodi. So, which I think is also, that's Argento to me having fun. Like he's been criticized that way in the past. So he's going to lean into that in the film that he does. But yeah, like you have, like, there's a weird attention to detail and the aspects of the serial killing as well. And that's how you can tell. That's a clear point that you can tell there's two killers in the movie. Yeah. And you get that. And once you grab that, because that's it, like when you see the flashback stuff as well, the woman that dies in that, she kind of looks the same. So the assumption is it's a red herring. It's a smart red herring to make you think, oh, well, that's the MO. The MO is the person that tormented them. So that's how that works.
It's funny you say that. I've got red herrings and red high heels.
Yeah.
Because those heels make the playing field totally level for everybody. Oh, yeah. When you get down to it. So it really does keep you going. I don't know.
Yep. That's about the closest you get to that red, those garish colours that you're talking about before is the red of the blood and the red of the shoes. So yeah, pretty cool.
Well, I guess there's the interviewer too, who was going full tilt on Peter Neal. She's not quite the easy one, but she's gay, right? Like that's her girlfriend, and
that's her sin in the book. So
so that gives both Peter Neal and the interviewer, you get a feeling that he's kind of a bigot. So he says something about well, gay people get killed in your book, and it's because they're unclean, and so you've got that. But also, she was attacking him. It's like, well, me, and she's like, hey, but why are your books like this? So she's a little bit off track, but she also is there to give you two motives for two of the the prime suspects.
Yeah. I like that scene as well, because when he's basically saying to her, what are you doing? We're friends and all the rest. That's once again, I think that's Argento's commentary on. He was like, you've got to remember, he was a journalist. He was the darling of. He was a rock star in Italy. He genuinely, he would be swarmed walking down the street by fans, adoring fans of him. He was that much but very quickly that became a why is he killing all these women in these movies, and why is he doing this and all that. So they got, from his perspective, people that were once, lavishing a lot of praise on him were asking him questions he wasn't comfortable with, or assuming he was doing things for certain reasons. So it's a weirdly personal movie as well, which feels weird to say that considering a woman's arm gets chopped off. But there's it's a weirdly personal movie for him. I don't know.
Considering the end, I just don't know that that's a great personal movie to be putting out there.
I don't know if you'd asked Daria Niccolodi, like after they broke up, I'm sure she loved the end. So.
Right. Right. You can always tell where their relationship was, because you see her slowly going down the slope of being the heroine hero of everything, and then coming down to, you get shot in the eye. You get shot in the eye from a bullet that goes through a peephole.
Yeah, it's like, but by the end, it's just like, did you read the script?
Oh, don't worry, honey. You just get stabbed in the face you get slashed in the face by a chimpanzee. It'll make total sense.
That movie, man, honestly.
So I was talking with Lois about this because I after watching Tenebrae, I was like, Phenomena is probably my favorite, and I said, because you can kind of put on the last 10 minutes and they say, well, I need to watch the rest of the movie to see what's going on. And it's like, no, it wouldn't help. It wouldn't help. You still wouldn't know what's going on. Just watch and enjoy.
You got anything else, Danny?
Oh, yeah.
Spit them out.
I'm just going to, reason for me to watch the movie is Detective Germani, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got Detective Germani always drinks on duty. I really like this guy. I watched it last night and I watched it again in preparation tonight, kind of skipping through. And I really like his style. He's pensive. He's in the middle of this, but he wants to believe that his favorite author isn't. But all these things are pointing toward it, and he's kind of trying to stay objective. And I think the guy, the actor who plays him, does a fantastic job of really playing this part that is a really subtle part. He doesn't have the Peter Neal breakdown at the end where he's laughing and he's the whole way through. He's got to be like, I kind of knew this was the obvious conclusion, but I wanted to believe that it was the least obvious conclusion, and that's where the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle line comes in, because it's like, you know what, this should have been obvious from the beginning.
Right.
To all of you. With like you're in a castle film or something. You're getting shocked from your seat. It's like all of you should have known.
Oh, Duncan, what you got?
I like the fake death of Peter Neal.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. And the only thing that makes it better is his return behind the character. Yeah. Oh man, the lightning strike. It's just there's something weirdly to me that's as close as you get to gothic horror from Argento. Like that whole scene with the person behind him and the lightning's cracking down and he's standing there maniacally. The lighting, the way it is kind of up, so it's under his eyes. Yeah, it's just amazing. You imagine, right? Yeah. You imagine going once again. You go and see this movie, and you're all up on your Giallo. You know what you're going to see. You've seen Argento before. You've seen Deep Red. So you've seen the definitive Giallo. Deep Red is the definitive Giallo, right? So you've seen it. It's the one where he's perfected everything he's ever going to do. He's worked out all the kinks all the way right through it. You get to that movie, that's the pinnacle. You go and see his next movie. Firstly, you go and see that movie expecting it to be the conclusion to the Three Mothers trilogy because he called it Tenebrae. That's the last name of the Three Mothers, which he doesn't give you for over 20 years. But instead you're going to see like a slasher Giallo movie, but you've sat through these before. You know what you're getting with Argento, right? And you get through that, you find that there's not only one killer, there's two killers. And when that second killer's apprehended, he's so distraught, he kills himself, case closed, book on Dano, everything's fine. And then you get that reveal. You get, I absolutely love it. I'm telling you, he is firing on all cylinders right across this entire movie, right to the very end. Like that last 20 minutes is about as good as Argento gets, hands down.
And I love Detective Germani is in the car and he says, everything's fine now. Everything's all right. And when he says it, you go, oh, no, it's not. Yeah. And he goes, oh, no, it's not. Like you're realizing it when he is, because whenever somebody says everything's fine, you know it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You were saying something, Rick? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, from the point where Jane gets the axe, from there on, because it all takes place in that one, in her apartment or whatever it is. It's just like you said, firing on all cylinders, man. It's just, it plummets you down and you're just sitting there going, wow.
Well, you genuinely don't know how it's, I think that's the thing, like all Giallos have a bit of surprise at the end when the killer's, it's mostly when the killer's revealed, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, he did it? That doesn't make any sense. I'll need to watch this movie twice again. No, it still doesn't make any sense. But okay, whatever. Argento's ones, the killer always dies horribly. Always dies horribly. If it's Cat of Nine Tails, he's going to fall down an elevator shaft.
Yeah.
Trying to hold on to, it's always like, Deep Red, their head's going to be chopped off by an elevator. Oh. Tenebrae, it's like, oh, well, it's death by suicide, right? It was gruesome. It's it's the weapon of the Giallo. It's the open straight razor across the throat. That's cool. And all this time we have completely neglected the most dangerous bit of sculpture ever created to man. It's like there's no way you couldn't have a kid in the house with that. In fact, you couldn't have it. You imagine stumbling in from a drunk night out and that's in your hallway. Death. It's that sharp looking that when I look at it, I get cut. So that's how sharp it is.
He gets the Ming treatment too, It goes all the way through his body, and he's trying to pull it out. Yeah, no.
You can just tell everyone's having a ball there because there's more blood, and then cue the scream, and then it's amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing.
Is it Deep Red where the person also rolls down the street on something and gets run over by a bus?
No, that's Four Flies in Greyville.
Well, no, he's talking about where Marco stumbles out into the street, gets hit by a garbage truck.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So Marco gets that's. I suppose that that's the red herring in that movie. You think Marco's the killer? Right. Yeah. And he's not. But he dies horribly. He's an innocent as well, but he dies horribly by death by truck. And his mum, who is the killer, her chain gets trapped.
Oh man!
I remember that. Yeah,
which severs her head.
You said that, and then I was like, but and it threw me for a minute because then I was like, but wait, in Deep Red, he gets. But it's because it's Marco, and he's the
Four Flies in Grey Velvet. The killer gets. It's one of the worst ones, but it's amazing. Yeah. It's like something from a comedy. Is trying to make an escape, and a vehicle is passing, and the vehicle has a chain dragging from the back of it, which catches the back of their leg and then drags them down the street to their death. And it comes out of nowhere. Comes out of absolutely nowhere, and you're just like, well, I suppose he's dead. Yeah, so it's so good.
And then Daria Nicoletti starts just screaming.
Yeah, she's like just screams. Every movie should end with a Daria Nicoletti. They should replace the Wilhelm scream with the Daria Nicoletti scream.
And then the chimpanzee gets in Jennifer Connelly's lap.
I was thinking
credits.
When you said that about the scream ending the movie and kind of continuing the horror out of the framework of the story, I said, well, yeah, and they had the perfect opportunity to bring the movie out the way they brought it in with the soundtrack. And then I realized it doesn't start with the soundtrack. It starts with the reading of the book.
Right. Yeah.
So it both enters it kind of feeds this reality in the music. The movie music starts and the movie starts. and then it feeds the reality out. But the screen continues on into the music, and I hadn't really thought of that until you mentioned that.
Now all of a sudden it's becoming your favorite Argento. You're welcome, Danny. You're welcome.
That's why these are such good talks. Good talks.
Hey, man. Again, I mean, just the soundtrack alone, man. Because I know it. I mean, that's one of the best title tracks ever. It's brilliant.
And it's after the first breakup, so to speak. They never properly broke up at this time period, but this is the first breakup of Goblins. This is Simonetti doing his own thing. Yeah, this is like Simonetti saying, "All right, I'll just do your soundtrack for you," and it's so good. It's like everything's just so good, and it's disco as well. It's like it's a disco track he's writing, so you're moving, you're transitioning to not only it's a different that kind of proggy rock thing's not the thing you put on your movies anymore. It needs to be disco and upbeat and dancey, and he takes it right into that. It's it just works
with the weird how I mean, it's just. What is this?
It's like an asthmatic with a harmonica.
Yeah. In the business, they call that a vocoder.
That's right.
So yeah, I saw him live. I saw him live a few years ago, and it was him with his touring band. So it was Simonetti's Goblin and not Goblin, and so basically it's him up there playing with people like maybe 25, 30 years younger than him, but they're all like they all adore him. They're like all in reverence of what he's doing, and he has a huge build up to doing that where he's the vocoding out to the crowd, like just he has a meeting out the palm of the hands, and then like all goes quiet, and then like out of nowhere, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's just great. He's amazing.
Yeah, I got to meet him and Dario were both at Texas Frightmare a few years ago.
Man.
So yeah, man, to have both of them right there sitting close to each other too. So that was he was very nice. I expect him to have a little air about him, I guess, but I don't know. He's very approachable.
I think without trying to cast shade, I think the other ones are more like you think they are. I think Goblin are apparently quite standoffish, and he's a bit more personable. So, unless Goblin's listening, we love you.
yeah. Take that away.
Hand hearts.
Yeah. So chances are, if they're not listening, we know that Tommy Lee Wallace is, right, Danny?
Well, that ship had sailed.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything other than just putting the last nail in the coffin.
I forgot where we're at. I don't even know whose turn it is. Is it Duncan's turn? Has he got anything else?
I think he just went and it's you.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. Here's mine. I've been holding off on this one, but Ania Peroni is hot. Man. When she goes in that apartment room and she comes out with just the white shirt on.
Yeah. I'm never going to Italy. I'm afraid of being assaulted by.
If anything is, Tenebrae has taught me anything, is that's the best reason to grow old. Is so we can all reach a level of age where it is okay for us to go after the younger women. Totally acceptable, I think. So
I do have this I wanted to say. I said Peter Neal yelled, "I want a rock," and he got one upside the head. But he's still good enough to go back and shag Dario when he gets back to the apartment. That's a man.
Yeah. I see why his wife was cheating. You know, the other reason she was cheating is because he was with John Saxon. He was like, "Hey, baby, check this out."
She's like, "Will you?" She's like, "Will you take off that hat?" "No way, baby."
"You can keep your hat on."
"You can count on my stool."
Oh, that's not good.
All right. You got anything else?
I do.
Okay.
Daria gets back to her live-in apartment or whatever the hell she's doing. And she turns on her little TV. And I want to talk about this reporter for a minute, okay? This guy who's got one hand in his pocket. He's like, this yard right behind me is where Maria Alvaredo got killed. Hey, and I'm going to read the whole letter from the killer right now. And he's like, what is this guy, man? He's delivering his lines like he's Paul Lynde over here, and he's got one hand in his pocket. I've never seen a reporter do that. I don't know if it's just the different thing in different countries, but this guy, if you've never noticed him before, watch him, because he's like giving him a bunch of pizzazz, but he's straight up like, you don't just read the killer's manifesto on your report while you're like blasé about the place where the chick
also you don't have the
and then
letter.
crack a joke. Then he cracks a joke. He's like, hey, and all the politicians are going to leave town.
Yeah.
Back to you, Marla.
Meanwhile, Marla's in the studio going,
we're toast.
Claudio, why? Yeah, okay. Well, that I had to mention that guy because I was rewatching it and I was like, this dude.
All right, Duncan brought it up earlier, but the dog, man.
The dog's amazing. The dog is the old man who died earlier on, reincarnated as a dog. But this time he can jump over. He can jump over walls.
He's been reincarnated into a more lithe body.
He sizes up the fence. He goes up to it and goes, and then he backs up and like, "Roo!"
I think that dog attacked Remo Williams too. It was 1982.
Actually.
Probably the same damn dog.
Probably the same dog.
Remember, one of them jumps up on the escape and the other one jumps out so that they can,
Mm-hmm.
The dog scene is so weird because she's attacked by a dog that she, that's barking at her. So she hits the gate with a stick and then it chases her down.
It's her fault. It's her fault.
Yeah. She instigated.
The dog's just doing what dogs do. Dogs bark, right? If you then provoke the dog, that's on you. So.
I get the feeling that dog was provoked before she hit that gate with the stick. It was already barking at her. It would have chased her anyway. At least she got a couple of whacks in when she got some safety.
Well, of course, if she would have... Here's one for you. Yeah. The guy, she gets off the motorcycle, right? And tells the guy to go screw himself, right? Duncan, you know who that guy was, right?
Marco?
That's Mikhail Suave, isn't it?
Suave, yeah.
Yeah.
So the demon face guy in Demons, the guy's got the silver face, that's the same guy. So
that's probably why she was yelling at him.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to put on this silver face and get a bunch of guys to go to a movie theater.
Yeah, I've got a golden ticket for a movie if you want to go and see it. She's like, no, I'm getting off this bike.
And then I'm getting attacked by a dog and killed by
Yeah. In hindsight, maybe staying on the bike was a better idea.
You should have read a horoscope.
Yeah.
You should have read a horoscope.
Yeah.
It's funny when you say that because you're talking about, I've never seen a reporter have his hand in his pocket. I'm going, no, man. Paul Burmaster from Kentucky Fried Movie, when he's standing out there doing a report, he's doing the exact same thing.
I've never seen a serious reporter do that.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Was this guy really serious, though?
That's what I'm saying. This dude was reporting a murder with all of with all the seriousness of Robin Williams.
Yeah. It's like what would happen if you asked Robin Williams to just be Robin Williams for 2 minutes. That's like hand in the pocket. Try to suppress the 17 voices that are in my head right now. So, yeah.
All right. We got anything else? Anybody got something else they want to say on it real fast?
Yeah, just another scene here. Like you were talking about the delectable shirt that is covering the beautiful young lesbian's body. That shirt is part of one of my favorite scenes ever. The straight razor comes down, cuts it, and you see her behind it with her eye. Oh my god! Once again, it's just like Every shot is just the best thing ever. But the whole build-up, this is coming off the back of this amazing crane shot that we mentioned earlier on, and the killer's actually in there. And we get a twofer in this one. We get a classic Argento woman goes through a window. That happens in almost every single movie. It is brutal in this one. But before that, we get a woman trying to move away from the killer. And she pulls her shirt up as she's moving back. The straight razor comes down, slashes it, and you get the iconic shot was on the cover artwork and everything of her looking through her shirt. And it is an incredible shot. It's just like, once again, I think there's more just the thought process that goes into creating a shot like that is like what has no one ever seen before. Because I can tell you right now, you've never seen that shot before 1982. That's right. Ain't no director ever done that. So it's that sort of originality. Yes, it means that occasionally when we talk about things you've never seen before, you will see psychotic dogs scale 20-foot walls. You will see that. On the flip side, you will see setups like that where there's just a scene where you're like that. That's like incredible. And the movie is full of those kind of standout scenes that, you know, make it so easy to remember, like apart from when we're trying to remember what the letter says. But it's so easy to recall those scenes because he just seems to be, this movie feels like a director hell-bent on not only solidifying his position, but out to make a movie unlike anything you've seen from him, which I kind of love. So,
and like you're saying, all these scenes also make you think, right? You start trying to put it together of how you pull this off. You know? So brilliant.
Cool shot, man. So cool.
I had to say though, when you brought up shirt a while ago, all I could think was the girl at the bar who had the shirt. It's like, are you not gonna pull that up? I mean, just let it all hang out right there. That's all right.
Yeah, I think we call that pulling a Janet Jackson. I'm sure. I'm fairly sure that's what. It's like that's not even just a nip slip. You know what I mean? Like you can't say that that's slipped out. That's by choice.
And let's also talk about, this is 1982, and she has walked over to that big husky guy with her shirt down, and he never even moves from the video game. That's the power that video games had back then, man.
Yeah.
She was throwing her best at the guy. All right, folks, we're going. Oh, you got something?
Then he high fives that other guy, like about the video game. and one more thing I gotta say, and I watched it both times. This kind of stuck out. The part in the middle where Johnny and Anne and Peter are hanging out in the hotel room, and they've got the map spread out on the floor, and they're being the Scooby-Doo gang, you know, like, but look, it's not too far from here. And Johnny's over here looking like Luke Skywalker. And, you know, it's just this, like in the middle of this whole thing, there are these little glimpses of like, this could be that kind of movie.
Yeah.
But it isn't, and it's not going to be. But like, you know, I don't know why he sprinkled that in there, but it's really noticeable.
But generally, the Johnny character, the young guy, would be the hero of the movie. In an Argento movie, that would be the hero of the movie. It's usually the young, impressionable person that's not seasoned, or, you know, that person would be the person that would crack the case. And he technically does, but he pays the price for it. So, but he's generally your hero in an Argento movie. If you look at, once again, you look Deep Red, you look at Bird with the Crystal Plumage, it's always the kind of the person that has traveled to somewhere else with no understanding of murder that gets thrust into murder. Peter Neal writes crime novels. So he is the artistic type that you would usually get. It's almost as if Argento split that character in half to make it much more interesting, which is why the Neal character gravitates towards murder, and the Johnny character doesn't.
Well, he gravitated toward murder like twice.
Being murdered. So
Well, again, in hindsight, when you look at the overall ending and you know what's happened, you go back and like, wow, here was this group sitting in the floor working out these plans together. And the guy that's going to do him in is part of this group, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So it's just like, wow, when you start putting all the pieces together, it's like, he really Really went over the edge.
His plan is he's insane, Ricky.
Yeah.
You could say his plan in this is to kill. Like, see, this is the thing. Peter Neal only kills John Saxon, Johnny and his ex. He doesn't plan to kill Johnny, and he wouldn't kill Johnny if Johnny hadn't worked it out. So his plan is always to kill John Saxon, which makes him a criminal, right? Because
Yeah.
He's killing John Saxon. Yeah.
Yeah, he killed John Saxon, whose hat did not defend him. That's the only. That hat should give that man superpowers. But his plan is to kill John Saxon and his ex under the banner of, you know, there's another set of murders going on, so he can tie them back. That's all Peter Neal's trying to do. It just gets worse when, like, the other murderers found out, and he's like, oh no. So then he has to expand it out. But he was only ever going to do 2. Not that I'm justifying anything that he did here, but
he wasn't only ever going to do 2, but as soon as he did 3, he was really only, like, you know, broken about it until he thought it wouldn't get him out. And then he started, well, okay, I'll kill everybody. You know,
well, you know, when he fakes his death and does the Michael Myers, I'm laying here now, I'm not.
He could have left. Yeah,
he could have left.
That's the point. But I think that's he's supposed to leave, though. I think that's what I take away from the movie is he fakes his death on the understanding that the cop's going to go, he's going to get up and get out of there, but the cop then comes back too quick, right? So when he comes back too quick, you imagine he's maybe in, like, some other room. Cop comes back, so then he's like, right, now I have to kill this cop. I want to kill this cop, but now I have to kill this cop. I have to kill this cop. So yeah, that's basically, it's weird because, like you say, he is the unseen character in this one. He is the guy that's having the flashbacks, but it's like an elaborate plan to get away with a crime, which I kind of love under the guise of something else. But because he's a great crime writer, but he's not a great criminal, right? So as a result, it all falls apart for him. And when it all starts to fall apart, he's almost kind of, well, at this point now I have to do this. At this point I have to kill this guy. And if I have to kill him, if Dario Argento comes in, she's going to have to die. And then I'm going to have to do this. And
that's a thing too, right? I mean, that's another thing that blows me away is the disappointment that's on his face.
Yeah.
When he realizes it wasn't her that he killed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally a surprise because he was intending to kill Dario Argento.
Yeah.
That's
so
brilliant,
man. So good. I love it. Yeah. Now that we're all agreed that it's all 3 of our favorite Argento movies, you're welcome, guys. My work here is done. So,
well, I tell you what, man, folks out there listening, I mean, you've already heard Duncan. If you've ever heard him before, then shame on you because that's kind of how the show even started, was him kind of, you know, prodding me on the right direction, which now he's probably going, shit. I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. It's
Hail Ming.
But
I was waiting for the Hail Ming. I was like, is he serious right now?
Well, my keyboard is so far away now, it's like I'm having to go.
You need to get like a Darth Vader panel on the front of you with buttons.
Yeah. Hail Ming.
You can count on my stool.
Oh, so
need that one on your belt.
Yeah, I do. Folks, as far as podcasting goes, I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't get any better than Duncan McLeish. So you need to take the time and go check out the bajillion episodes of Podcast Under the Stairs. I call him the Machine. I've seen other people starting to call him that too, but I think I started that. But anyway,
you were the first one. Yeah, you were the first one.
Yeah.
So.
And I nothing but just admiration for your just commitment to work, man. It just blows my mind how you just keep doing it.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
from
when you started, you were just a newly, married couple going on, and now you've got 2 kids since then.
Yeah.
A movie room that would make anybody jealous. That thing is awesome, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love. It's not finished yet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I have to keep building. Can't stop building. No, honestly, genuinely, thank you very much. A pleasure to be back here. Hopefully it won't be another however many years it was between that visit, which is just insane. But time honestly just evaporates, and the last couple of years have been a blur. But yeah, it's great being back here. And if anyone does check out my show, off the recommendation here, then you're listening to two incredibly wise gentlemen who are still like you guys as well. Like, let's be honest, when you first started off, it was an audio format. You've taken that, adapted it, moved it to the next level. And to be honest, I see a lot of shows going the same way now. So you've done your same thing. You've been a trendsetter. So that's what it's about. And to be honest, at the end of the day, it's about having fun with your friends and chatting about movies. And you guys encapsulate the best parts of that. So thank you very much for inviting me on.
Well, I want you to, it's going to be hard for you to do, but just kind of give an overview of kind of what you got going on right now so people can go and check your stuff out, all that kind of good stuff, man.
So yeah, Podcast Under the Stairs at the moment is getting ready to close its doors for Christmas. We close on the Christmas Eve, but up until that point, between now and the next week, we've got a Children of the Corn Russian Roulette franchise retro coming up. I've got a 7-hour Freakin' Director's Conversation dropping this Friday.
It's insane.
Just started a brand new box set series on Gamera. Started another box set series on the Lindsay Baker box set that's come out. So yeah, that's the kind of, I'm doing Dexter as well as at the moment the new Dexter TV show. So that's all kind of happening in and around what we're doing, plus listener choice stuff. And then I have another channel called the Teapots Collective. And on the Teapots Collective, I do a show called Where to Begin With, which every season picks a theme. And then I recommend 10 movies based on that theme that I think you should watch to expand your interest in it. I've got Opera Omnia, which is a show that exclusively looks at one director each season with a guest host and then does their entire body of work. This season I'm doing David Fincher with Bo Ransdell, who I do Duncan and Bo Come Correct with. There's Doing the Nasty, which is running through the Tier 3 video nasties with Mark Ball, who's my resident host on that one. And then Chronicle, which is about to come back after almost a year away for its season 4, which exclusively looks at European horror cinema. And then if you want to continue on out with that, I do a podcast and YouTube channel on metal and rock music called Metal Epidemic. And then Duncan and Bo. So if you've heard Bo Ransdell before, you know Bo Ransdell. Myself and Bo Ransdell do a show that we've been doing since 2014 called Duncan and Bo Come Correct. And this season, we're looking at the painful watch that is Slasher season 3. It's maybe one of the worst TV shows I've ever seen in my entire life. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. So
about Jaws of Shite?
Gee whiz. See, I would get in trouble about that for forgetting that. That's the one. See, that's the one I put the least effort into, so I always forget it. Jaws is Shite and Other Regrettable Outbursts is the name of that show. It is essentially 4 Scotsmen getting drunk, talking about terrible life choices, of which we seem to just keep adding to. And we do weird news stories from around the world, and we do listener emails under the guise of getting drunk. It's a ton of fun. It comes out once a month, but has been kind of off and on for the last 3 months because I recently became a father for the second time, and one of the other hosts became a father for the first time. So so it's been like we have kids, yay. Do you want to get drunk and talk about stuff? What? All right, we can't do that. Yay. We have to adult now. So, yeah. So, Jaws is Shite and Other Regrettable Outbursts. All that stuff can be found at tputscast.com. tputscast.com.
And anywhere you listen to pods and all that stuff.
Yeah, just the way you search it, I'll pop up.
Yeah.
At this point now, I'm too
like a banana loaf. He'll pop up.
Now, like a banana loaf recipe found in a Playboy. Appetizing.
Right. Danny, you got anything you want to say?
No, just thanks for being with us, and thanks to our host, or thanks to our guest, my co-host, everybody. War Rocket Ajax. Thanks to War Rocket Ajax for keeping us from hurtling into space and not having any atmosphere.
War Rocket Ajax?
War Rocket Ajax. for providing us with money under the guise of criminal enterprise.
War Rocket Ajax. War Rocket Ajax is shite. All right, folks, that's it for us. Thanks for hanging out with us. Do yourself a favor. Go check out Podcast Under the Stairs. Check out all of our old stuff, too. Enjoy yourself. And have a Merry Christmas with one of the best horror Christmas, not really Christmas movies ever, Tenebrae. Have a good one, folks. We will see you later.